Um, Hello, guys. This is
So
our third or fourth podcast. I think it's the third one, no? Or the
I
fourth?
don't know. I think it's the fourth.
I
This
don't
is
really.
this is number four. This is number four. We're in podcast number four. Yeah.
Oh, damn!
Back at
Already. Well,
Yeah.
here I'm Arseny. You guys.
I'm Gustav. Good to see
Cam.
you again.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. So we have a lot of topics to talk about here. Trump presidency, uh, the negative and positive impact of technology, entertainment. Damn, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So the Trump presidency, right? Who wants to start us off with this one?
Yeah, we can. I can start off with that really quickly. I think that I know that Arsene, I know Gustav and I have talked about this one quite a bit outside of class. We just because we have a lot of classes together. So
I see.
we've discussed it a little bit because we're both international students, so we kind of have a different perspective on it. You have a different perspective on it than maybe people that are in the country. Because what we kind of see is a global effect of it, what our parents are saying back home, what our friends saying back home, and kind of our country's reactions, which I think is pretty interesting to think about. But I think his presidency has definitely been right out of since he was in office and signing these executive orders, which don't mean anything or anything like that, but I think he's really trying to push an agenda, which can be looked at in a positive and negative way for sure. But I really like to think that I have hope in America, that it'll become positive. Um, but yeah, definitely, like, I know a lot of countries feel threatened by it. Like, even Greenland, when there's talks about, like, buying Greenland, like, stuff like that, the Gaza Strip turning into Miami.
The
Like,
Ukraine thing with the
yeah, exactly. Like,
negotiations.
there's a lot of stuff that I think him as a person, he's bold, right? Like, he's a personality-driven guy, and I think that's really valuable to have in office because you feel like you can get things done. Um, but yeah, I think Gustav and I have touched on a little bit, like, um, it's been fine. Obviously, we're not seeing any major changes right now. Everything takes time. But tariffs didn't happen. Those pulled out, I believe, right, Gustav?
Yeah.
Those pulled out. Those tariffs didn't happen. Gulf of America happened, sure, like whatever its name. Um, but yeah, he's a lot of talk right now, and I think that can be good at the beginning of your presidency, kind of set the stage, set the tone. I can tell he's trying to do that. I don't know what you guys think about that, but yeah.
I heard that he appointed Elon Musk as the reduction of the federal program as the overseer of that, and he also like done some, he disbanded the international international development program as well. And yeah, have you heard about this?
Yep. Um, Gustav, would you like to? I have heard about that, and I think it's interesting to have Elon in there. I mean,
I
Gustav, if
mean,
you would like to see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot about this particular matter, but I've seen Elon Musk going in and out of the office, being seen with Trump in general. Yeah, I think he's a big person behind him, but also in front of him. He's yeah, I think he's pushing him around a little bit. I mean, there were statistics that said Trump is always the most like feared, acknowledged person in the room. Like when he steps in, he's the main man. And I feel like for Elon Musk, it's kind of him taking over Trump. Um, he's he's the main man if he's in there. There was statistics which said like Trump has always like spoken for 80% of the time when there was an interview in the office. But when Elon Musk was there, he actually spoke more than Trump. So I think that's a crazy aspect to think
Mhm.
about the
Yeah,
future,
for
and
sure.
I
also
mean,
just to see how much power Elon Musk has, even though he's just a person, but
Yeah,
he's the
it's
richest.
it's not like having like 400 billion is enough. Now they must have political power.
Yeah,
We're going into a good place in the future. We're gonna have
yeah,
billionaires, trillionaires ruling over the government. Ooh,
yeah. It all comes down to money, and he's the richest man in the world. So I
like
guess
if he
it's
wasn't the richest man of the world, like I have a feeling that he wouldn't have gotten into the position that he is right
yeah,
now. Like,
for sure, for sure.
well,
Yeah,
so
but it's Trump. We all know him. However, we don't know what he's planning or doing. He's just, I don't know, a person who you never know what he's going to do in the future. Yeah,
Exactly.
many people are scared of him back home in Germany. Um, we're actually clueless what's going to happen in the future. So yeah, let's see and wait. So far, it's been a lot of talk. Also, some actions about policies on tariffs and etc. But nothing really happened so far. So I'm looking forward to see what's coming.
Yep, for sure. I think we've talked about that quite a bit, and I think in class we've talked about that a bit. I don't think we need to dive in
yeah,
anymore. I think if you want to move on to the next one, which we
yeah,
can talk
sure.
about for a while.
So like
Um,
Um, so we recently covered the entertainment industry and all of that stuff, and technology has always been a big part of that, right? So you want to discuss? Let's discuss about the positive and negative impact that technology has, well, in our life in general, and since it is a big part of business after all, right?
yeah, I mean, I can start with that if that's fine with you guys. Or,
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
okay. I definitely think there's some business perspective and just general perspective uh of technology. There's a lot of communication. I think of technology as a tool. Um, I mean, it's turned into a little more than a tool. It's a lot of now other things as well. But I look at communication, information, healthcare, um, accessibility, um, education is a huge one. And yeah, I mean, like that positive thing, which is also going to be a negative, is like you can pick up your phone and like literally do anything you want with it. You can search up anything you want. You can get any information you want. But that leads to the negative side of is that information true, right? Like I think that's a big one is false spreading information on in media, which is a lot of it through technology platforms and stuff like that. Um, and then also with technology, I think that um, there's a lot of privacy concerns around that as well that we talk about and kind of we know about, but I don't think we talk about enough. I think job displacement with technology is going to be huge. When I'm not just talking about like this and this phone a little bit, but also we're talking about AI and we're talking about all the different machinery and stuff that's being made and produced, literally replacing jobs. I think is a big one. And I think that yeah, like I said, misinformation is big as well, around technology and then shot out through technology, whether that be like me scrolling through TikTok or Instagram and seeing like news, which feels weird that I see news on those platforms. Like I feel like that's my time to like sit and brain rot for like an hour, but
Yeah,
like it's you know what I mean? So I mean, I think that's kind of my general consensus on it. If you agree or disagree, um, please take the floor. I'm just gonna grab some water really quickly.
yeah, sure.
yeah.
Well,
So I think. Do you want to start? Go
no,
for
no,
it.
no, good stuff. No, no.
All right. All right. Yeah, I think technology obviously has lots of positives. When I think back, when I was younger, my granddad always used to read the newspaper every morning, having his coffee and the breakfast. And I think nowadays it's totally different. Who looks at newspapers nowadays? It's all like all happening through the phone, through the TV. Um, yeah, so lots of positives. Also, as Cam talked about it, misinformation is just a big one. Fake news. Sometimes you don't even know um, if it's actually real or not. So you're looking for other websites and kind of reassuring yourself if that could be true or not, and sometimes you just can't figure it out. And also, I guess through social media, a lot of bullying and just happening through social media, and therefore mental health was being affected for a lot of children and teenagers, as they're very emotional in that time. So I think it also has some negatives, but obviously the positives are outweighing the negatives by far.
I mean,
I think
yeah, but
sorry, go
oh, sorry,
go
you
ahead.
want to say no?
I think just to slip in there as well, right? Like something that we don't really realize, but education, like even like you can go online and you can get degrees.
Yeah,
Like you can get full degrees. And like I study and use Quizlet and Khan Academy, like so much stuff like that. I
yeah,
think also is like that's part of technology, right? Like I don't mean to interrupt you, Arsene. I just wanted to put that in y'all's head. Um,
I mean, yeah, like
Go
ChatGPT
ahead.
saved
Now you
me,
talk.
and
Yeah.
no, okay. So, well, obviously, technology, it's really just, you know, basically, our entire lives are just shaped by technology. Like, Gustav, you mentioned that your, well, grandfather was reading the newspaper, but even like the newspaper was able to be printed because of technology, the printing
yeah,
press, you know, it's really, it's like a part of us, It's why that some science fiction, authors and speculators think that people will soon be merging with technology, like the AI chips in our brains, that Elon Musk thing. Have you heard of that? Yeah, it's really, we just become more and more integrated with technology, and I feel like it will become way more prominent in our lives than today. Like, it's prominent right now, but in 10 years, I can't even really imagine. However, as for a more personal perspective, it kind of made me go outside less, I guess. I get to, like, it makes me just stay inside more, since it's way too convenient for me not to use, well, the internet and such. So yeah, I guess that might be a bit of a negative effect, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
I think there's definitely a negative effect there, and I think you can look at an extreme of that too. And there's people that it's their lives now, right? Like they don't even go to school. Like
yeah,
it can get to an extreme, right? And those are extreme cases, but they happen. And yeah, sure, you can make money online, a lot of money online, doing a lot of different things, whether that be like streaming or something, or like day trading, or whatever it
Or
is, drop shipping. Yeah,
Bitcoin,
exactly.
pump and dumps.
So like, yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of stuff like that, but I think there's positives in that, but like there's a lot of negatives when it comes to these people aren't really living, some of them aren't living their lives. Like,
I
like
mean,
that's sad kind of.
yeah, just to add something quickly. You know that the Argentinian president recently endorsed a pump and dump in Bitcoin, or some e-coin, and then he literally, like, tweeted on the internet that people should buy this, and then it all
Mm.
just lost value overnight, and boom, $200 million gone. And that really, and that affected, like, real life for Argentinians as well. They're now revolting against that president, I heard,
yeah,
and like, it goes even more deeper. So it just affects us on, like, on a political scale as well, like technology and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. I think that's big. And I think you
Yeah,
can that's another great example of like the positives and the negatives. Like people have now these platforms, if we want to get specific, to post on that have influence. They have influence over like a lot of the general population types of people, like the normal person, and that can be very dangerous, but it can be very not dangerous and positive. But like we've seen what I'm gonna pick on Trump a little because Trump is notorious for this, like on Twitter, right? Like notorious. Got banned from Twitter even from doing all that. But like stuff like that, like good stuff can come out of there because you spread your message quick and everyone sees it if you have that platform. But if you put it in the hands of a wrong person, which I'm not saying Trump did, but you see situations where that can happen. It's super dangerous because also like kids that are like 15, 16 are seeing this stuff. I can go on Twitter. I found this out the other day. I can go on Twitter. I can watch the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, watching war online is crazy. Watching drone POVs, just
Like
like
I'm
blowing
watching
up people.
full, like I'm watching like I didn't watch it, but like you can go and you can literally go watch people getting mowed down
No.
in like Ukraine or like Iran, like or in like Gaza and stuff. People just and it's so disturbing, which is I think there's some value to the fact that maybe people seeing it sure over a screen is not as humane as feeling that emotion of that type of thing, but it makes it a little more real for the people that are quite sheltered. But at the same time, that just kind of like it kind of at the same time dehumanizes it all, and it's like like what I'm watching on my screen. It's like a video game. I'm like, dude, like, am I in real life Call of Duty right now? It's like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of sad, and
just yeah. Sorry.
I just should say like, and that's the fact, right? You got to think about that. 16-year-olds could be going and seeing that at like 16, 14, even like people are getting technology earlier and earlier. I don't know about you guys, but for me, like my age group was 16, like 15, 16, and we were starting on that stuff. I know now it's like 12. Like kids are on their iPads at dinner at like 8 years old. And like imagine a 12-year-old like just scrolling through and sees that and then watches it more because you're interested in it. You're like, what is going on? It like, and then you're just numb. Your brain's just numb from that stuff.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
So just before we move on to the next topic, like I saw a montage, like these cool montages with rock music of people dying in the Ukraine war, and there was also like a knife to knife fight between people, and it's like insane. Gustav, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something real quick. Like, obviously, I think it's also kind of important to actually see what's actually going on, and being able to get to that those videos is something useful, I think, but it's not supposed to show, not supposed to be available for everyone, I guess. Yeah, so I think there's some negative and positives, and also just to add on an earlier point of Cam, that people are not living life anymore. I think when we got into social media and technology, like our first phone and etc., was way later when what's happening right now to the younger generation. As I see my brother, he's 12 years old, and he's on his phone, on the iPad, on the PlayStation all the fucking time. Sorry.
This is podcast number 2 that we've sworn about. It's gonna be you next, Arseny. It was me and Gustav, and then you now, Arseny.
Yeah, my bad, boys.
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. I feel it.
Yeah, just to keep going on that. And I remember I was outside doing stuff with my friends, playing football, just doing nonsense outside, living life, literally, all the time. And now I see the generation, especially through COVID as well, just staying inside and being on their phone, watching TikTok, YouTube, Instagram all the time. So I think that's definitely a negative, and population also gets less because of that.
Well, yeah, talking about like TikTok and such, our next topic is what entertainment do you see as being most popular in the next 10 years? Which is, with technology advancing so fast and so far, what do you think, guys, about this? Like, how will technology and how will entertainment be in like 10 years or even 6 years? It really.
So I really think, like, I think us as just an entire civilization as us in the world. Sorry, I don't even know how to word that. I'm exhausted right now. We want now, like we want right now. We have no patience. I need to open my phone, and I need it, first of all, not to take like 7 seconds to load. I just need to open and like think about the fact that we like get frustrated, like when something doesn't load in like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. That's crazy, right? So I think that short term like dopamine, like type of thing, especially when it comes to, like you said, like short form content, like something like a TikTok or like an Instagram reel, is gonna just continue to dominate. I think, in my opinion, there is no way that that type of industry, of that short term quick, it can go away because it's addictive and people love it, like love it so much. I think on top of that though, it kind of ties into this, who watches TV anymore, right? We all watch Netflix, we all watch, do you a bit, Gustav? Like,
Sorry? Do I what?
do you watch like cable TV
TV.
at all with ads, right?
No.
I mean, who does? Like,
No, right? I don't either. Like, it's like Netflix, Prime, like Disney Plus, like all those streaming services is another example. It's kind of different with that short-term patience, but at the same time it's not. It's like I can open, search up exactly what I want to watch, click play, and it plays no ads right to the next episode, right to the next, like that type of thing. So I think those are just going to continue as well. They have to. Those are just such in the market for, especially like from the right now, I'd say like 35 and below age group, so relevant and will just continue to be. I also think esports will just kind of continue to grow when it comes to entertainment. VR, I think it will grow a bit more. It's a great thing that I think people like view it as, okay, well, I'm inside all the time on my screen. If I put these goggles on, then I'm outside practically. Like I'm not in this, right? So I think that's another one, a little more scary, that definitely. And honestly, another one I would say, I see it back home a lot. Canadians are big gamblers. Like gambling services online
VR
are,
gambling.
yeah,
Clicks.
yeah, literally like gambling is huge. The fact that I don't have to walk and like place a sports bet or like do anything about it or like go online and like I don't have to go even on Safari and do it. Like I have my apps and I'm like have my money and I'm putting it right there instantly and like trying to get that instant reward because again, you mix a phone with the gambling, that's like a double addictive thing, and then you mix it together. I think that's another niche thing, but I think it will continue to grow as well. I think all those things are going to grow, and we're just going to continue to see kind of a boom in the market like we've been seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. Especially those short form entertainment like Instagram Reels, TikToks, stuff like that. Just because it's so easily accessible and it's just so simple and easy to open your phone, go on TikTok, and watch a video for a minute. Like it's literally addicting, as you said. So I'm believing that will grow in the future. Um, as well as you mentioned esports. That's I think gaming is really popular everywhere around the world, so that's
Mhm.
going to grow as well. Yeah, but also the implementation of VR and AR is obviously a big one. And I'm not too sure how it's going to impact us, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I also, well, I agree with you guys. I also just wanted to point out something. Esports is really just booming in general. Like, I believe it's like the future of, the future is bright. Like, recently, chess became an esport, if you guys are not aware. So now chess players are basically joining esports teams and competing in this $1 million tournaments, playing chess online. So it's like esports is really just paving a way for many sports to be implemented into this, you know, technologically intertwined entertainment format, which we have been discussing um, before. So, uh, and our next topic is what do you guys think of the impact of climate change in the U.S. and globally? Yeah, so this really just kind of like links to the Starbucks case study which we've done a lot. So, what do you guys think about that? The climate
Um,
change and
Gustav, you want to start with this, or you want me to start with this?
I don't mind whatever you want.
I go ahead. I'll go ahead really quickly.
Yeah, go for
I'll
it.
talk about the U.S. probably. Like, so, I mean, I think it really ties into like the Miami thing as well. We were the
Yeah.
Miami group, so like this is kind of we know our stuff about this. But Miami's just like kind of the beginning, especially in the U.S. I think like we're gonna see continuing. There's a lot of parts of the U.S. that are obviously just at sea level, and like we don't really realize that yet. Even up in Alaska is another big one with climate change that I've heard a lot about. Um, and yeah, I'd just say like I think it's going to be really an increase of inconsistent weather patterns, hot and cold, as well as that like the hurricanes, droughts, wildfires, floods. Like even we've seen it. We've seen the effects of it already. I mean, we had two hurricanes back to back come in to like Florida, which yeah happens during hurricane season, but it was like back to back, which is pretty crazy. Um, and yeah, I'd just say like heat waves are going to be big. Stress on water, that will happen a lot in the U.S. And then like globally, I just think you have to think about ocean wise. There's a lot of stuff with that, um, precipitation and like everywhere around the world. And I don't know. We have glaciers melting up there. We all know what climate change is, and it's flooding our oceans and rising our sea levels and raising the degrees of the Earth from the ozone layers that are burnt, and stuff like that. And then I think another big one to think about, the like implications of that in the U.S. and globally, is displacement. Right? You have places like Miami that we don't know in the next what did we say? It was what is 20 or 30 years? They think it's gonna yeah. They think it's gonna be pretty much underwater, and there's a lot of people there. It's a major city. So I think that's something to definitely take into account. If you guys want to talk more deeply on it, that was just kind of my overview on it. But yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I think it was more like 100 years, but it doesn't matter.
oh, it's 100 years. My bad.
I can't remember either. So yeah, just in general, climate change is a real thing. It's definitely happening, and we shouldn't deny it. Um, Especially us here living in Orlando, we've witnessed the hurricanes in fall, which were quite massive. I mean, they were impacting Tampa quite harshly. So definitely that's part of the climate change. And then also back home in summer, I'm just we're always talking about those extreme heats, and we're actually experiencing them. So I think it's for sure happening. And yeah, the nations should cooperate and somehow find a solution for it. Um, Even though it's hard and I can't think of anything to tackle this problem right away, just but cooperation is definitely needed between the nations.
Yeah, but um, just to add, at least one positive thing you could say is many more companies at least are promising to um, improve or be more socially responsible for the environment, like with the CSR policies and all of that stuff. Like many companies are stopping the plastic straws and just using the paper straws and just being more socially responsible, like, and fulfilling their I think it was the CSR, right? Those kind of policies, and at least that's the right step towards the direction. However, I feel like that's still kind of a way to distract us from the real problem of why are we having all of these negative climate issues. It's mainly the companies in China or in India even, who are just pumping up all of this toxic things into the sea and just having an insane amount of um, global pollution due to mining, like resources and such. And nobody really focuses on that really, because it's not really that disclosed online, and most people just focus on these big companies which are pretty transparent, at least from what we know, right? So yeah, so um, we're already nearing up 30 minutes. So you guys want to just quickly mention the Starbucks case study, and then we're done.
Yeah, I can go over that really quickly. I think
Yeah.
we talked about it in class, and I think we talked about a lot about the growth of Starbucks and trying to enter different markets around the world, in different countries. And we've seen them fail. Australia, we talked about Australia, where they did fail because Australia has their niche coffee shop down to down to like the dime, and Starbucks didn't really work there, for example. But I think Starbucks is so strong because of their brand management. Like their brand and their brand image is like it's unmatched, right, to any other chain coffee shop we know in the world. Um, I think that's massive. I think that's so massive that exactly like what it is, what you're getting. I mean, we talked about it with McDonald's. We can compare other of those top 500 companies that are like that in the industry, but I think Starbucks has just got it down to such a core. And you look at the prices now for a Starbucks, and you're like, you make so much money. Why are you charging me that, right? But it doesn't matter. You won't care because it's just such their their consumer base is just so loyal and just it's unbelievable. I know people that get Starbucks every day, once or twice a day. They have to. They're my day's not a good day if I don't have Starbucks. Like, what are you getting? A venti iced chai latte with whole milk and sugar. Can you not just make that at home?
10
Like,
types of syrups, 10
yeah,
sparkling sprinkles.
yeah, but that's the thing, right? It costs the exact same to do that than to just have the regular drink alone without all the additives. So, I mean, like, it's just like I don't know. I think my biggest thing that I always thought of with Starbucks is how can you pay so much money for what you're getting and stay a loyal customer? Because when compared to I don't know, I can't even compare it to another thing in the world because we can compare it to Dunkin', but it's not, right? Because Dunkin's cheap, Dunkin's quick, like it's a different vibe. Um, and like I would compare it to something like why it's so different to other like global dominators in the I'm not even gonna say fast food because it's not fast food, but like coffee shop market, like it is just niche. Like it has its staple and like
Hmm.
that's it, and people will pay anything for it. So yeah, I just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, just to touch on it briefly again. Yeah, I think it's just highlighted the importance of brand recognition and having a loyal customer base, as you said. That's essentially why Starbucks can charge those premium prices, why they're such a big player around the world. But also, I think in the case that you read about their expansion strategies, just highlights how important it is to have proper research conducted before actually expanding to different countries or regions or whatever. So yeah, I think it's been a good case study to read through and definitely helpful for future.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's also really detailed compared to the other ones. I feel like it went in more depth about Starbucks. So we're already going quite over the time limit. So you guys want to wrap it up for today?
Yeah, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
We covered pretty much
Uh,
everything.
so thank you for listening. Then goodbye, guys.
Thank you.
All right.